Hi everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Lamplight City, where we are in the process of investigating all of the Justice Killer's murders once again. Now, we've just about finished up here, I believe, in the lamp workshop or whatever it's called. They're doing some sort of etheric light bulb
this is
experiments.
where all the lamps in the city come from. I can't believe I never bothered finding out before.
And their experiment was successful, basically. We spoke to the engineer, and I believe we got the Burley Cause's apartment, which we'll potentially have a look at in a minute. So I think probably the best thing to do is investigate all of the previous murders before we investigate the new one, see if there's anything else that we can relate to the newest case, I believe. So we've been to the lamp depot, we've got the cab depot, we've already been to the Houses of Parliament and to the McDonough residence. So we've got the bridge construction site, the apartment and the ironworks. So I believe the cab depot and the ironworks and the bridge construction site are the places that we probably want to go. Let's start with the ironworks and see what this place is. Ooh, this is cool. Love the lighting. I'm getting a really warm vibe from that. It's so well done.
This place sure is big. I wonder if they actually make anything useful.
Very skeptical, aren't you, Bill? Right, so there's an iron.
Well, that doesn't look good.
Looks like it's been an explosion of some sort. Actually, there's very little... Oh, there's an employee area that way. There's a foreman here. Let's talk to him.
Excuse me, sir. Are you in charge here?
Unfortunately. Who are you? This area isn't open to the public.
I'm Miles Fordham, and I'm a private investigator looking into the murder of one of your workers.
A private investigator, eh? And maybe you can help me out.
Okay.
I'll do what I can, but I'll need to ask you some questions, Mr.
Mims. Sanford Mims.
Sanford
Go
Mims.
ahead, but make it snappy.
Okay, we've got some questions. Hannibal Kirkland, Iron Mill, the Justice Killer himself. Let's start with himself. It's always a good starting point, right?
How long have you been the foreman here?
Sometimes I think it's been too long. Things were so much easier before we got these machines. They keep saying they're supposed to improve our lives, but they've been nothing but trouble. I've already had 5 of my best men get mangled by some of them.
Oh, God.
And then there's these damn fools blowing things up. My hair wasn't this gray 5 years ago, you know. I swear one of these days, I'm just going to pack it all up and retire. Let someone else deal with these damn things.
So someone's blowing things up. So it's sabotage, was it, potentially? Let's ask about the iron mill.
What happened to your iron mill?
What's it look like? The damn thing went and got blown up.
Was it in disrepair?
Of course not. All my machinery is sound, checked and serviced regularly. This is the work of those goddamn Redites, I'm sure.
Oh, the Redites again. They're the ones who hate the steam tech.
What makes you certain the explosion was the Redites doing?
Take a look, boy. The whole mill got taken out. Even if this had been a mechanical failure, which it wasn't, the explosion would have been contained to a single part of the machine. This couldn't have been anything other than sabotage.
Have
Okay.
you had problems with the Redites before?
They've sent anonymous letters, but this is the first time they've actually carried out one of their threats.
So they seem to be getting a bit bolder then, don't they? Let's ask about the sabotage.
You're absolutely sure this was sabotage then?
Yes. How many times have I got to tell you that? Listen, you said you were an investigator, right? So find out who did this to my machine. If you do, I'll help you out with whatever else you wanted to ask me about.
Okay.
Looks like we haven't got much of a choice. He seems pretty upset about his machine.
I'll see what I can do.
Right, so we've got to figure out who did this. Let's ask about Hannibal Kirkland.
What can you tell me about Hannibal Kirkland? A former employee here?
Listen, I've got a lot on my mind right now.
I understand, but it's important to my investigation that you tell me what you know about him.
I'm sure it is, but as you can see, I've got a lot to deal with right now.
Right, okay, I get the impression that he's not going to talk about either of these things until we help him out, so
I'll be going now.
Be careful on your way out.
let's not waste our time, I guess. So we got another... Find out who sabotaged the iron mill at the ironworks. Okay, we can do that. That shouldn't be too bad. Let's head to the cab depot, I guess, and then maybe the bridge. We could probably go to either, but let's do the cab depot, because I feel like the previous murder things is quite important at this stage. What's this?
Remember, a black eye is not a badge of honor. Anyone picking a fight will be dismissed immediately.
Whoa.
Well, that's hardly any fun, is it?
I mean, it makes sense, though. Okay, there's
A
handsome
good
cab.
old reliable handsome cab. Nothing fancy, just gets you from point A to point B. The way it should be.
We've got Herman. We've got mechanic. And that's about
I
it.
thought about a career as a mechanic once. Glad I chose police work. Way less messy.
Okay, Herman.
Good evening.
Oh, it's you again. Small world.
Indeed. Mr. Shaw, was it?
Oh, it's
That's right.
him.
So, what brings you around to the cab depot?
Yeah, we met him on an
Wanted to
earlier
ask you some
case.
questions if you can spare some time.
Shouldn't be a problem.
I can't actually really remember. Oh, he was the guy who was living with the artist. That one. Right, okay, let's ask about himself.
Are you still living in Pumblechook Place?
I am, sir. Things are more or less the same, except Roger's not around anymore. Suppose he must have moved on. Hope he isn't planning on coming back, because his paintings made for great kindling.
Oh, I have a feeling he won't be.
Okay. Coulson Cabs.
What can you tell me about Coulson Cabs?
Not a bad place, really. Only problem is the number of people always coming here for work. Lots of folks think driving a cab is an easy job that anyone can do, but that's not the case. You need to know this city like the back of your hand, and it helps to know how to drive. So we get lots of fellas starting here who don't have the slightest clue what they're doing. They don't last long.
What about the automated cabs? Are those a problem for you?
I prefer not to think about those. Coulson has said he's got no plans to replace his fleet, so it's all that matters to me.
Okay. Let's ask about the Redites.
Have you had any trouble from the Redites?
No, sir. They got no reason to give us any trouble. What with us still using horse-drawn cabs?
Makes sense.
I imagine the fellas over at Phillips have, but I can't be certain. We don't deal with those a lot if we can help it.
I don't think interviewing anyone from Phillips would be a good use of our time. Our priority is finding the Justice Killer, after all.
Okay, let's ask about Reggie Willingham.
Did you know Reggie Willingham?
Reggie? Sure, I knew him. Well, just as rather I didn't.
Oh? Why do you say that?
The man was a bore, a scoundrel, a no-good bounder.
I wish he would tell us how he really felt.
Only reason they kept him on here was because he was a good driver.
So it's fair to say you didn't like him?
Nobody did. When I heard he'd been killed, it wasn't exactly a surprise. If I treated people the way he did, I'd surely have a lot of enemies.
Okay. So, let's ask about Reggie's
Could you
behaviour.
elaborate a bit on Mr. Willingham's behavior?
Oh, he was a proud one. Thought he was God's gift to mankind. Always strutting around, bragging about how many gratuities he'd earned or how many fist fights he'd won against drivers from Phillips. He had the shortest fuse I've ever seen, too. Just looking at him the wrong way could set him off. I'd always laugh to myself when he'd brag about how many women he'd had in a week.
Why is that?
Because it was obvious he had to pay for the pleasure. A man like that isn't going to get a woman otherwise. I may not be a hit with the ladies, but even I know that being a bastard is a surefire way to drop them off.
Okay, the Justice Killer. So, I guess that would tie in with the Justice Killer dealing out justice if he wasn't a very nice person.
Are you familiar with the so-called Justice Killer?
I've heard a few rumors here and there about some murders in the chum, but I haven't paid them much attention. There's plenty for me to worry about in my own life.
Aren't you concerned for your safety?
Yeah.
Not really. I haven't done anything wrong. So if this loony's going around doing justice, nothing for me to worry about.
He makes a good point. I think we need to get a better idea of what exactly these victims did to incur the wrath of our killer.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
appreciate your time, sir.
Pleasure's all mine.
I'm guessing they all did something that the Justice Killer decided was wrong. So, learn more about Reggie Willingham's personal life. Okay, our list of things to do is really starting to stack up, and we haven't got any suspects and only one clue. So, I guess let's head to the bridge next. So where do we sit? We still need to go to the bridge. We still need to go to Burley Cause's apartment, and then I think then we've been to everywhere. So let's do those two. Okay.
Safe for only 25 men at once. I used to draw the line at 2.
This is cool. I like this.
Huh, they seem to be making pretty decent progress.
Yeah, they do. Anything else?
I wonder if it would be any fun to tie yourself to that thing and go for a few spins.
Not something I would particularly like to try out, thank you, Bill. Lovely view of the city here, though. I like the smoke coming from these chimneys and stuff. Looks fantastic. Who's this? Construction.
Excuse me.
Hey, what are you doing here? This is a construction area.
I'm Miles Fordham, a private investigator. I'm looking into the murder of a man who used to work here.
Who? Bowditch?
That's right.
I got nothing to say about him, and neither do the rest of the boys.
I've only got a few questions. If you could just...
I've got nothing to say to you. You want to know more about Bowditch? Go talk to his little woman.
Where can I find her?
Rouen Coffee House. She's the serving girl. Now get out of here. If something falls on you, I'm not gonna take responsibility.
Okay.
Short and to the point. I can respect that, even if it's extremely unhelpful.
Fine. Off we go then. He wasn't very helpful at all, was he? Well, I suppose he did give us something to look at. So we've... What came up there? Speak to the serving girl at the Rouen Coffee House. So we can either go to Burley Cause's apartment or speak to the serving girl at the coffee house. Where are we? We were here. So I tell you what, let's go to Burley Cause's apartment. Okay, let's have a look around. Some
I
trash.
thought the housekeeping in my apartment was bad.
More trash. Nothing there. There's a door there. Okay.
Apartment 2A. This is the place.
Okay, this is the one, is it? And that's...
The number is a bit faded. Is this 2B? Or is it not 2B?
Ah.
That's the question.
Haha, very well done, Bill. Right, 2A's the place, apparently.
There doesn't seem to be anyone at home.
No one at home?
There doesn't seem to be anyone at home.
Okay, can we...
There doesn't seem to be anyone at home.
No. Can we try this one? Oh, someone's here.
May I help you, young man?
Maybe.
Hello, madam. My name is Miles Fordham, and I'm a private investigator. I have some questions about your neighbor.
You mean my former neighbor?
Yes. In any case, I'd appreciate it if you could help me with some information.
To the point, then.
Nah, I don't think so. The last
Why?
person to ask me about him was that awful policeman. I don't want to have to go through that again.
I'm sorry you had a bad experience, but I can assure you I won't give you a hard time.
Yeah, don't worry.
Well, that's easy for you to say. But actions speak louder than words.
Uh-oh. I think I know where this is going.
Is there anything I can do for you then?
Well, since you asked,
Oh, God.
my
Was she-
layabout husband is out wasting our retirement fund with his drinking. Go find him and bring him back here.
Okay.
Then maybe we can talk.
Phew.
Oh, wonderful. Now we're playing babysitter.
For a moment
You'll
there, I
find him
was...
at the Silent Raven. It's not too far
Ah,
from
the Silent Raven again.
Yes, I know it.
Good. My husband's name is Kurt Williamson. You tell him his wife Ethel wants him home at once.
It's like
I'll
you're
do
in
my
trouble,
best, Mrs.
Kurt.
Williamson.
Alright, another objective added. Get Kurt Williamson back home. Well, we can do that. I had a horrible feeling that was going to go a different way then, when she said that I could do something. Right, so we can either go to the Silent Raven, which is actually nearby, or we can go to the coffee house. So I guess let's just go to the Silent Raven. Hey, look, the chalk thing's still here.
Looks like they haven't bothered cleaning this up yet.
Yeah. Still got all the
These
adverts.
advertisements are all at least 10 years out of date.
Anything else?
It's an ad for whiskey. Or perhaps paint thinner. Sometimes it could be hard to tell the difference.
Yeah. Are the drains open still? Shingle.
Your mascot seems to be a raven with a glowing red eye. Is that meant to attract customers or to scare them off?
Good question.
I suppose you could do worse, as far as bar names go.
Yeah, alright, well, let's head in and find this Kurt guy then. Right. There's a corner.
Doesn't look like cleaning up is high on the list of priorities around here.
Is this Kurt? It looks like it might be Kurt. We've got some people. We've got a chessboard.
Looks like that's where they keep the good stuff. Of course, around here, good is an extremely relative term.
Okay. We've got the barmaid bottles.
They don't seem to have much variety in their beer selection.
Okay. I can't remember. Was there anything over to the left?
Been pretty quiet in the streets of late, hasn't it, Bertie?
Right.
I never thought I'd see that bridge finished in my lifetime.
We don't seem to be able to...
It wasn't.
Blah, blah. We don't seem to be able to talk to them, but they are...
when the streets are this quiet. Almost all the traffic, you know.
Doesn't look like clean.
Blah, blah, blah. Why can't we...
And anyway, it wasn't.
We don't seem to be able to move?
You know what the weather's like, it's ridiculous these days.
Okay, weird. Right,
Excuse
let's talk
me,
to Kurt.
are you Kurt Williamson?
That's right. Who are you?
Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator.
Oh, yeah? What is it you want from me?
Your wife wants you home at once. Sorry to bother you. Well, your wife wants you home.
Ethel sent me to tell you she wants you to come home right away.
I should have known. I can't get away for more than a few hours before she's put the entire city on high alert. How much of my retirement fund did she waste on getting you to come down here?
I'm only doing this because I need some information.
The joke's on you, then. You can just go back and tell her I'll come home when I'm damn well ready.
Why don't you want to go home?
Why is it you're so averse to returning home?
I enjoy going out and having a good time. Is that so wrong?
Your wife told me she doesn't like you spending your money on drink.
What I spend my money on is none of her business, and even less of yours.
Okay.
What's this world coming to when a man can't even drink in peace without all his affairs shouted from the rooftops?
Alright, calm down.
This whole situation seems awfully familiar.
Yeah, I was in the same position as you recently.
Listen, Mr. Williamson, I think I know what you're going through.
Oh, yeah?
My wife and I were having a rough patch. I wasn't being honest with her, and it nearly drove us apart.
But you managed to fix things.
Yes, I was fortunate. I did the right thing before it was too late.
And what did you do?
I told her the truth, that I hear the voice of my dead partner. I communicated honestly and openly with her. I showed her a good time. I mean, I don't think that's a good thing to say. I communicated honestly. I showed her a good time. We communicated honestly.
It was simple. I just communicated honestly and openly with her. I told her what was wrong and how I was feeling. And you know what? She listened. Have you ever told Ethel why you like going out?
No. I assumed she wouldn't understand. I really wish she would come out with me, but I know she'd never agree.
How do you know? Have you actually talked to her about this?
Well, no.
Well, there you go.
Well, then maybe you should. If she knew you wanted company, she might just give it a try.
You know, I never thought of it like that. I'm going to go home right now and tell her. And if she refuses, well, at least I asked, right?
Yeah.
That's the spirit.
Yeah, there you go.
Good advice, friend. I really do appreciate it.
No worries. Look at that, solving people's marriage issues. I mean, our own marriage is a bit of a
Not bad.
problem.
I have to say, I'm impressed.
But yeah, look at that. Right, barmaid.
Excuse me, barmaid?
Hi, what do you need?
I don't really know. Let's ask some questions. Kurt Williamson.
Do you know anything about the man sitting at that table over there?
Not really. He comes in here a few times a week, but he mostly keeps to himself. I see his type all the time, though. Older, probably retired and looking to escape his home life. I feel sorry for him, but that sort of customer is my bread and butter.
Right, the Justice Killer.
Are you familiar with the Justice Killer?
What is that, some fancy drink concoction?
No.
No. It's the name that's been given to a serial murderer here in the Chum.
I see. Never heard of him. And if he's smart, he won't show his face around here.
Well,
You know, this place suddenly feels just a little bit safer.
yeah, the Silent Raven.
How are things here now that the election hubbub has subsided?
Oh, right. I thought you looked familiar.
Yeah.
You were the one in here asking about the fellow who was killed.
That's us.
That's right.
Well, there hasn't been too much excitement since then. I've hardly had to toss anyone out, which is a right shame.
Why's that?
Kicking out a rowdy customer shakes things up a bit on a quiet night like this. Gets the blood flowing, you know?
Right. Okay, ejection policy.
What would a customer have to do to warrant being thrown out?
My general rule is if they're being a nuisance, they're out. If they try to pick a fight or are just being generally disrespectful, it's a one-way ticket to the pavement outside.
Good to know.
Yeah, good to know. Can we ask
What
more?
was it you said a person had to do to get thrown out?
Pick a fight or just be bothersome enough that other customers complain about them.
Right. Thanks.
So, interesting.
I appreciate you taking the time to chat.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why we can keep asking that, but off we go, I suppose. So now I suppose that now Kurt's gone back, we should, I think, investigate Burley Cause's apartment. So maybe we can go back there now, and maybe they'll talk to us. Hopefully. We did what she asked anyway. So I'll tell you what, guys, we'll leave it there. We'll talk to the neighbour, hopefully, in the next episode and see if we can find anything else. So as always, thank you very much for watching. A big thank you to my patrons, Arcades Games, Wayne Nate, Terminally Nerdy, Paul from the Phantom Fellows, Lyle, Barry Aldridge and Hobo for all the support on the channel. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you next time.